Welcome to Community Conversations. My name is Eileen McKean. I'm your host tonight. I'm here with Hilda Santiago, who is Democratic candidate for Secretary of the State. Hello, Hilda.
Hello, Eileen. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation to be here tonight.
What do you envision for expanded voter access and early voting?
In order to do early voting in the state of Connecticut, you have to change the state constitution. Going to a referendum this year in 2022. So it's going to be very important to make sure that the voters know that it's on the ballot. And it's a very simple question. It's a yes or no, because once we get the numbers, then we would have to take it to the legislature. That'll be for 2023. And then they would decide with, public hearings of the town clerks and the registrars, public officials, anybody else that's interested in early voting, maybe the universities, they can come and talk about why it's important to have early voting. We're one of the 6 states in the country that still doesn't have early voting. So it's important because people sometimes have 2 and 3 jobs. They can't get away from work. They have to pick up their kids. They have to go home. So they can do it at their convenience in order to vote early. So the legislature would be the one to decide if it's going to be 3 days, if it's going to be a week, is it going to be 2 weeks? And with the help of the Secretary of the State and other representatives, then they can decide how long that period of early voting is going to be. And again, you just have to be able to listen to people and that you have those relationships, which is something that I have in order to pass a bill. And I'm excited about that because I think that, changing the Constitution and having people vote early is going to make a great difference in people coming out to vote.
Your elevator pitch.
I went to school at Southern Connecticut State University for teaching. I did that for a bit, and then I got into a bad marriage. So then I after that, I went into social services. So I've been doing social services for a very long time. I was a director of a Head Start program in a nonprofit organization right here in Meriden. I was director of the shelter. So I have that professional administration experience behind me. I also am now working for Senator Chris Murphy. I am the deputy director of casework, and we have 169 towns that we have to deal with, and we have 6 caseworkers. Back when he was in the House, we only had 3. So, but when he became a senator, now we have the whole state. So everybody has federal issues. I am looking to be the Secretary of the State because I know that I can make a difference. I know that I can get more people to vote. And if I go into the community and do community engagement, that I will be able to convince people that it's so important for them to have a voice when they vote. Because voting is what is the foundation of democracy.
Exactly.
And we have to make sure that in this country, that it continues to be that. And we have to be able to make sure that our democracy continues. And voting is the fundamental way that makes us different than anybody else, that we have a safe election, we have an election that people have a voice, and that people can select the people that they want to vote for, and that it's done in a peaceful way. Changes that have to be made with the Secretary of the State, I want to make it together with folks that live in the community, that live out there, with the registrar of voters, with the town clerks, with the rest of the elected officials. That's very important. You have to be able to have a relationship, and you have to know how the system works behind the scenes in order to make sure that you keep the tradition of voting as it is. Of course, there's changes that we have to do, and I'm hoping that getting the word out and being that face of voting rights and voting change in the state of Connecticut, then people are going to be more safe about feeling better about coming out to vote.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out to talk to us here in Wallingford. Thank you for joining us for Community Conversations. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I hope to come back.